I've been following your work for a while. But I was interested in the way you created this video, where you depict the projects and the work that's coming out of the office, stemming from analogies somehow. And I'm just wondering, does the architectural analogy somehow still become the starting point for your work, or do you figure out a way to actually plug in the analogy somewhere along the process? So is it a sort of is it a crucial phase in your project where you have to now look out for points of reference to develop an idea, or do you set out an agenda with an analogy, with a reference, and then initiate the project?
We look at it more as form follows fiction, and in a certain sense, when I say fiction, I think every client is fictitious, every site is fictitious, and every analogy in that sense is fictitious. So it really, when you look at it like that, gives you a tremendous variety in terms of how you could really conceive your project as a starting point. So it's great to really operate in a field of fiction, so to speak, and whether I mean, by default we are architects, but it's always great to kind of keep that aside and start from a point where you really feel you're also like a character within the fiction and trying to figure things out and try to sort of choreograph a new way for the project. But I think I think the idea of let's say architectural tenets in a certain sense, or issues in architecture, always sort of make their way through in a way that it sort of gets sort of amalgamated into the whole process of, whether you're looking at a fictitious situation or whatever. It really makes its way through and helps us ground it and gives it direction. So these are really, in some sense, obviously some of them are retrofitted, but a lot of times it's really how you think, and you really need to figure out how architecturally you could sort of conceive the whole thing with whatever issues that you're interested in, sort of pervade in this process and make the whole thing happen. So in a certain sense, you could have a different start point, but then you really need to fall back to architecture and sort of the issues in architecture that you're interested in to kind of form a framework for it and take it forward, especially into building and everything ahead. So the overarching idea is to really look at it in a fictitious way to enable you to really break free and try out something else. I think that really is the broad framework of what it is.